lots of comments on, one of the key points of that being that they have to be coached. One of the themes of the questions that came in was on queuing. So Nick, you are about to be up. The question in its specific form was, what do you find the best way to decide on cues to try and enhance front side mechanics?
So, I think there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but it goes back to the idea of, do you have a model? Do you have a way to get to the one big thing? And I would just say that one big thing could be front side, it could be backside, and happy to share some specific cues. And I think Altus do a really good job of this, but the model that oftentimes I talk about, and I'll be brief here, is just the 3 Ps: position, power, and pattern. One, can they even get into the body positions in this case that is related to sprinting? So do they have the requisite hip flexion, extension, thoracic extension, rotation, so on and so forth? And you can get a sense of that in the way they move, but also assessing them in the gym. So mobility, stability, can they get into position? Step 2, do they have the requisite power? If you're working with a younger adolescent athlete, they're still growing, their strength to power ratio might not be in favor. What you assume is a coordinative issue is just a growth issue and a strength issue. And so from that perspective, if you are getting some way with an older athlete to assess strength and power, you're like, yeah, mobility, stability, great. They can get into positions. Relative strength, 1.82 for lower body, fantastic. We know it's fine. Then the final piece is the pattern. Okay, so if we know it's not a mechanical issue, it has nothing to do with the car, position and power, that then leaves me with pattern. And so if I still see an error, I need to have some level of a technical model that says, what do I desire on the front and the backside? And it's at that point that I start to deploy my cues. And it's interesting when we talk about the front side, backside relationship. And right, it's a relationship. You talk to Dan Paff and the crew at Altus from a track and field perspective, and I'd love JB's opinion on this. They have to coach the push, the backside. For them, that's the big rock. And it's a matter of figuring out how to phrase that or bring about a drill or a context that provokes better push. For me, in American football, and it has been no different in rugby, it's all front side. They're so used to being flexed and taking rapid steps because they're making decisions and moving in traffic. Once they have the space to run, it's a matter of lifting the hammer high enough to actually generate a positive force to be able to create some separation. And so insofar as specific cues, I'll just give the one I've used more than any other, and that is, imagine you have a pane of glass in front of you and you're shattering the glass. That's probably number 1. Number 2 is as if you're sprinting up a hill, or the ones that our guys really like are sprinting upstairs. So 2 of those are kind of visual. Well, actually all 3 of them are visual. Break the glass, get up the stairs, get up the hill. All those kind of provoke an up and out front side drive.
Nice. JB, do you want to just expand there when Nick mentioned about kind of front side versus backside mechanic?
Oh, that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear. And I think it's also a very individualized approach, because something that we did not say so far is the fact that there is no team sport player pattern, and there is no team sport player way to run. There's one individual at a time way to run. You will have some trunk flexed / neutral pelvis position people, and you will have some trunk flex / anterior pelvic tilted people. So it's very important to go individually on that. And yes, overall front side mechanics is I think a valid model for people to run fast in track and field events. Now the big question is does that apply, or should that be transferred to team sport, where, as Damien said, there's constantly some uncertainty and changes of direction and changes of orientation of the acceleration. So you got to be ready to be fast, but you also got to be ready to be slow immediately to be fast in another direction. So that makes the situation complex. But overall, because the roundtable is about speed, if you want to generate a lot of speed, so you will need time and you will need consistently front side mechanics oriented pattern, I think.